Hello, Crazy Cat 690 here, and I want to talk a bit about the settlement building in Fallout 4. Now, I'm sorry about using the same footage I used for my, I think, Fallout 4 criticism video, but with Uncharted 4 I haven't really actually played any Fallout 4 recently, and I didn't bother playing just to get some footage for this video, as it's not gonna be a long video, it's just gonna be a rant of sorts about what I would like for settlement stuff. Now I've watched a lot of uh, negative videos about Fallout 4 bashing it pretty roughly, and while I agree with a lot of them, I would like to focus on something a bit more positive for this video, and like maybe that's the wrong word since I would like it to change a lot, but some constructive criticism on the subject, I guess.
Minutemen?
And
So now I'm traveling backward.
so without further ado, let's get started. Um, so about settlements, overall they can be a bit small. I mean, even the big ones won't let you build that much, at least not to cover up any considerable space in the settlement. And if you do, it won't be very useful stuff that you get to build. And there's so many settlements that just they're so small that they shouldn't even be settlement available for the player. Instead, they could focus on a few big ones if they choose to have this a similar mechanic in any future installments of either Fallout or maybe the next Elder Scrolls or a new IP. You never know. Regardless, I would gladly just have one location where you build, if it meant a more deeper mechanic. Like right now, you can assign settlers to gather food or uh, have sell stuff, like have shops, or you can, if you with the right perks, you can send them off to trade with other settlements. Now, while that's a good start, like it's a very good first attempt on Bethesda's behalf to make this much, but there's a lot of potential and a lot of room for improvement. Like as far as complexity goes, I'd like to see more jobs like administration and proper defense, so I don't have to run back myself every time a few ghouls appear. It's a bit ridiculous when they call me in to help, and it's like a huge big settlement of 20 people. I've all put that I all have armor and good weapons, and they want me to take care of like 5 raiders who were giving them problems. It's if they need my help, I want it to be actually big stuff they need help with. That is, if it's again not a small settlement, but like a settlement full of settlers with good defense and all that. They shouldn't be bothered by a small group of raiders. And like I said, more variety in jobs, because if I when I found I often find myself with a full settlement and many settlers who they have nothing to do, and I can't build anything more for them to do, because there's just I've reached the size limit, and I don't want to send them off to set up trade routes with other settlements that I've already got connected. Uh, I would also like to see some politics with the whole settlement stuff. Um, what I mean is like I want it to have an impact. Like if you have a big settlement, if we say that for the next Fallout game you can only build one settlement and it turns into a really big one, like a city of its own to rival whatever other major settlements there are in the game. I want it to have uh, a noticeable impact that when you go to other towns they acknowledge this and maybe you can set up trade routes with them and gain from this. And maybe if you're playing an more evil character, you could maybe wipe out other settlements or sabotage for them to make them more dependent on you, giving you more rewards and so on. Uh, there's also other smaller nitpicks and wishes I'd like to see. Uh, One thing I don't like is that they treat you like a stranger. Like if we take Sanctuary, you've built it yourself, you've cleared it out. Well, you haven't built everything, but you can build a lot of things, and you have to build things so they can support themselves, like set up farms and water sources and all that. So it would be nice if they didn't give you the same old, oh, you got a dangerous look about you. I hope you ain't here for me. Like I'm the founder of this place. Maybe you ought to show me some respect. I mean, I'm a big deal after all. If I give you a place to call home. I also didn't like it to be tied with the Minutemen quest line. I mean, I get why they did it, but again, I'd like it to be a more a mechanic tied to your character karma, in lack of a better word. I know Fallout 4 didn't have a karma system per se, but you can be kind of a douche if you really make an effort. But like, if you play more like a raider, it should be an option. It's what I'm saying. You should like be able to be a warlord as far as the settlement building goes. So that you know, what am I trying to say here? That your people isn't good, and that your mission may not be good and peaceful at the core. That you may be out to exploit surrounding settlements and all that. Like think about Paradise Falls in Fallout 3. Maybe you wanna set up a slaver town, or otherwise just have a hub for your more evil deeds. If we look at New Vegas, we have the Yes Man, and that's something that could be tied to this for future installments. It would be a good way to like make the settlements more important. So in Fallout 4 it's not really necessary, and it's not something you have to do. If you can choose to ignore it, and I've heard many people saying it feels tacked on, or it's something they never bothered learning. And if they made it more important, like a Yes Man faction, then I feel it would be beneficial. Like if you don't choose to join the Brotherhood on their big airship, and you don't want to join the railroad in their underground base, and you don't want to join the institute. You build your own fortress and operate from there and make decisions for yourself as the leader of whatever place you'll visit in future installments. I know it would be complicated, but if they're gonna do this, it would be nice to have a deeper mechanic. Right now it feels like you build a house for yourself and then have people inhabit it like decorations. And yeah, that's a pretty good way of describing it. People in your settlements are only the decorations, and that's pretty. It's not preferable if you want to build a town. Like you don't feel like a major or something, and I guess in some ways that's not necessary, and that's probably not what they were trying when they implemented it in the first place. But in the future it would be nice to actually have it, since if you spend hours building a town or a fortress or whatever, it would be nice to have something to do with it. That you see an impact of the effort you put in elsewhere in the wasteland. So I don't think I have much more to add to the subject if I don't want to repeat myself too much. And I'm sorry if I tend to ramble a bit, but I just wanted to give some constructive criticism on this settlement aspect. It's something I spend a lot of time on, and I have currently 2 characters, and with both of them, settlements is something I've spent a lot of time on. I've pretty much rebuilt the wasteland where I can, and I put great care and effort into every location. So it's something I'd like to see more of for sure. I don't think they should scrap it. I think they should expand upon it.
You're welcome.
And that's all I have for now.
Maybe you'll come to Sanctuary with us. We could use your help getting settled there.